This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to jump over to the G.I. Joe headquarters to take a look at our retro card back version of Scarlett from G.I. Joe Classified. This figure, of course, is based more on the original toy design and, to a certain extent, of course, the animated series. On the back of the box, we see the other figures in this wave being Rakondo, the Jungle Trooper, Scarlett herself, and, of course, Duke. We have Scarlett, O'Hara, Shana M. Role Counterintelligence. Primary specialty Intelligence. Secondary specialty Classified. That's weird. Birthplace Atlanta, Georgia. A martial arts expert who started practicing at the age of 9, Scarlett graduated summa cum laude from 2 Ivy League universities and went on to excel in training courses at all 4 branches of the armed forces. And of course, this doesn't at all relate to Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind, I'm sure. And of course, we have one of the older file cards that we can go ahead and read off here. And I'm kind of curious as to what's going to be different between the two of them. Counterintelligence, codename Scarlett. File name O'Hara, Shannon M. Primary military specialty Intelligence. Secondary military specialty Classified. Birthplace Atlanta, Georgia. Grade E5. Scarlett's father and 3 brothers were martial arts instructors. She began her training at age 9 and was awarded her first black belt at age 15. Graduated Advanced Infantry Training and Ranger School, Special Ed, Covert Ops School, Marine Sniper School, Special Air Force Service School, Marine Taekwondo Symposium, Qualified Expert M14, M16, M1911A1, M79, M3A1, M700, Remington Sniper Rifle, MAC-10, XK-1 Power Crossbow, Throwing Stars, Garrett, and K-Bar. Scarlett is confident and resilient. It's remarkable that a person so deadly can still retain a sense of humor. Okay, so let's open this sucker up. Take out our handy dandy blade that keeps on stabbing me. I like the way they do these boxes, but I really wish there was a better way to open them up without just damaging them, besides trying to cut through the whole thing. Got the multi-language thing that nobody cares about. We've got our G.I. Joe Classified retro stand with spot for name where we don't put any names because that would be too much money. We've got a spare ponytail and a animation rifle, same as what our Classified Duke came with. And I'm going to guess that Rakondo comes with it as well. Where to start? You know, there does not seem to be a holster for her pistol. Okay, so we're going to do a quick comparison between her and the original, well, the reissue of the original Scarlett, because for the moment, you know, we have this little hole in the back for the ponytail, but if you don't put the ponytail on, you basically have her with the same hairdo she had in her original figure. So that's something to consider, I guess, when you buy her. And this obviously is not the original release of Scarlett. This was one of those 25th anniversary releases, I think it was. And I think this is more supposed to be closer to the cartoon coloring. We'll set her aside. I just want to do that for the head, really. The head sculpt itself actually looks pretty nice. They gave her a fairly bright red lipstick, which I do like. They even gave her little earrings. I don't know how well you can see that from here. I can't really tell if her eyes are blue or not. I mean, I think they're supposed to be blue, but with my eyes alone right now, I can't tell, so I'm sure it's probably picked up on the camera. And I'll do some photos later. We have our choice of ponytails for her. We've got the one where it's kind of blowing back. And we got more of a hanging loose kind of a deal, which, you know, you can kind of spin the ponytail around too to determine how you want it to sit on the figure. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, to be honest. Because you got that, you can go like that, or would this be the more accurate way? Actually, that almost looks like that's designed specifically for if she's sitting in a vehicle, to be honest. But for now, we're going to go with the more straight one because I figure that's probably the most likely one that most people are going to use with her. And we'll set it like that. Articulation-wise, we have a butterfly joint. We have a hinge up and down, and hers are really tight. You can spin. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbow. And I am so glad they started putting double jointed elbows on the female figures. We have a boob cut where we can rotate her torso around. The head, sorry, I even forgot all about the head. It's my bad. The head has got the chicken neck that you can do because there is a joint down here at the clavicle and a joint at the top where you can spin her head around. The hair does kind of knock around, and honestly, I think you're going to want to avoid that as much as you can because you might damage the peg in her hair if you do that a lot. Interesting thing to note here, there is a little hole right there on her belt. And it does not appear as if there's not a peg on the overbelt here where that would plug into there to hold it in place, is there? No, wait, maybe there is. Hold on. All right, so if we twist it enough, we can see the little peg hole right there, or peg. So we want to try to get that peg hole into that spot to help hold the belt in place. Also, note, there's a zipper right on the side of her uniform there. I'm not sure what you can put in that pocket, but it's there. So we did the boob cut, right? So we can spin around, move the torso all over, back and forth. We've got a ball joint at the waist where we can move it around, bend it a little bit here and there, front and back. So you can actually bend her back more than you can bend her forward, to be fair. She's got lots of little strappy things on her. We can kick up yay far, and we can kick back only about yay far. She does have the drop down hips. The quiver, though, it does kind of hinder a little bit of the movement for the side kick here, but you can still bend her legs pretty far that way. So she will be able to kick somebody in the head. Thigh cut, so we can spin the leg around. She does have this little like computer screen thing on her thigh, which I don't know why. Why is it on her thigh? Her quiver kind of gets in the way of a lot of the things so far. We have a double jointed knee. Beautiful. We have a spin. And we have a hinge at the foot, which is super, super stiff on her. See this other one better? Yeah, the other one's better. So we got the hinge that goes like that. And a spin around as well. She's probably going to have to be heated up to loosen up that joint. Equipment-wise, we have a backpack. The original Scarlett did not come with a backpack, I believe. Just her crossbow. Which, of course, like I said before, we have the animation accurate rifle, which is the same which Duke also came with. And we can attach that to our backpack, like so. Or would it be better to do it like this? We have more of an actual rifle for the Army. The clip does come out. It's maybe one of the few times in which the clip was obviously what side it goes into there. So that looks pretty good. I don't know what type of gun this is. If you know, please go ahead and say so in the comments. Oh. Unfortunately, trying to attach that one on here is actually causing damage to the trigger area. Man, that is such a that's such a bad design. She also comes with a knife. It is painted on the blade separately from the handle. And that goes in her thigh sheath. She also comes with a pistol that's painted the same way the knife in her other equipment is. There is no sheath or holster for it on her body, which is kind of interesting. Now, just for a quick comparison though, this version of Scarlett does have the little gun. I would assume that that's on one of those spring-loaded things, so like you shake your hand and it'll pop into your hand. She does not have that design on hers. She does have the little computer monitor thing or something like that on her leg. The little pouches on the boots, little pouches on her thighs, same as this figure. The knife is the same. You know, she has a knife, has a grenade up on her shoulder area. It's too bad the grenade doesn't come off. She's got another zipper there too. There's a little bit of padding there, which I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be for. So, I mean, that's the basic comparison between the two figures. It's a really good version of the sculpt. Also, they did paint... they actually painted this more like an actual bodysuit over a pair of tights kind of a thing. Or in this case, probably like leggings. whereupon this is a full thing, and she comes with a slingshot too on her butt. So yeah, they did paint that, so that looks nice. I prefer that paint job there. But there's nowhere on her to put the pistol. Then there's not really a spot on here unless you remove one of the guns or rifles. But let's go ahead and take a look at her crossbow, which fell apart when I opened up the package. I don't know if it's meant, well, I'm sure it's meant to do this, but so there's a little pin here and a little hole there. So I guess theoretically you could claim this is an actual rifle or gun itself if you wanted, because this does look like it's about the same size as a blast effect. But I think they could have done a better job designing this crossbow. And in this case, it's got a scope on the side. I'm not sure. I wonder if this is actually animation accurate, because the previous crossbow had a scope kind of up and off to the side a bit more. She comes with 2 different bolt designs. Most of them, 3 of them are just a standard bolt. And then the 4th one kind of has like a grabbing claw on it. And there are spots in here for them to go in her holster, which I originally thought that maybe they were supposed to go in there pointy side first, because that would be more reasonable. Will they fit point? I don't think they won't even fit pointy side first, I think. Will they? Yeah, I guess they will. But if you got the little gripping hand thing, it's not really going to work that way very well. And of course, there is a slot on the top of the bow, so you can actually put one of the bolts. I don't know how well you can see that, but the slot's there, and if you go to about the midpoint, there is a little spot so that the fletching on the bolt can kind of fit in there. And it does hold in pretty well. Of course, there's no string, real or faked plastic one on there, which is kind of a shame. I suppose you could work one in there if you wanted to. You could take a string and tie it to the end here, pass it through this little spot here. But she's one of those figures where you're probably going to want to display her with her weapon out. The one thing that seems a bit troubling to me is this spot here. Seems like it's a little too small for on a crossbow. Because if this is like a standard crossbow, when you go to pull back the string, you generally have to put your foot in there. So you would like stick your foot in there and then pull back the string. Let's go ahead and let's try doing this a little bit different here real quick. I want to see if the bolts will all fit in, arrowhead down. Because you wouldn't want to stab yourself with the heads on these things, you know? They don't fit in there very well either, truth be told. So maybe the best way to do her for display purposes would actually be to put the trick bolt in the crossbow and have the regular bolts inside the quiver. But now let's go ahead and put our backpack on and see how... Oh, I get it. Okay. Switch out the ponytails. Put the backpack in place. And Scarlett's ponytail goes on the back of the backpack. That probably should have been obvious at the beginning. Oh my God. So Scarlett with her backpack and her 2 guns. To be perfectly honest, I don't see myself having her on display with the backpack. I'll probably take that off. Though, I want to see how well this would work for... Because again, this is the traditional animated rifle. You know, the hand that I would like to see them make... I would like to see them make a hand that is designed to better hold onto the front of the rifle. You know, better so than the trigger hand does. And of course, her ponytail came out. And again, we could probably use it. I'm sure that'll work with vehicles too. So there we got our Scarlett. I actually really like the design of this figure. I think it looks better than the previous releases that they did for Classified, the original one, and then the reissue one. And there's also the Snake Eyes one. And maybe I'll do a separate video just to compare the different versions that they've put out for Classified thus far. The last thing that we didn't talk about is that she also comes with a set of fists. Oh. So we can have her look more ready to fight. As I'm sure a lot of you know, there is another figure coming out using Scarlett's body, and that's coming with the G.I. Joe Classified Dragonfly. Technically, the other one is the first use of this body. This is, however, the first release, I guess. The only issues I really have, though, with this figure is how the paint here doesn't match up with the paint here. And I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, so it's the plastic issue. So, looks like the torso here is sculpted in this plastic. This is a separate plastic, so the way it looks, the gloves and the body and the crotch are all done in kind of like the same, more softer plastic, I guess. And then the torso is a harder plastic, but they could not really properly color match the 2 plastics, which is a shame. They did a better job matching the colors from the gray plastic to the gray paint, though. So I would highly recommend this figure if you're a G.I. Joe Classified collector. I think she looks better than the original version of Scarlett they released. And I think she'll be a great display piece for your collection. Although she's got no butt. Anyway, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I think I did mention that I was thinking about doing a comparison video between the Scarlett, the first Classified release, the repaint release, and the Snake Eyes release of Scarlett. Let me know if you think that's a good idea or not. I may or may not listen to you, to be honest. But anyway, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.